recently I just changed the oil of the Perkins we have here, and I feel a mistake. I didn't top up the oil filter before I put it back on place, and I run the engine and figured there is no oil pressure coming up, and well, I just killed the engine, and what we did now is like we filled up the oil filter, tried again, still no oil pressure, and yeah, now we have some diesel fuel into the oil, and in order to try to clean everything inside, and maybe also the strainer on the oil sump, and let it sit for a while. And now it's a time for another try. We'll see if we get an oil pressure now or not. If not so, we're gonna clean out everything and have to figure out what is the problem. Maybe the gauge, maybe something in the oil pump, we don't know yet. Yeah, let's try. I'm not gonna throttle up too much, because if there's no oil inside, shouldn't run it anyway. Okay, let's try. As you can see, there's no oil pressure coming up. Okay, I'm gonna kill it now. Alright, so we don't have any oil pressure. To make sure that we really don't have any lubricant inside, we gotta make sure that the gauge is working properly and that there is no electrical problem, to make sure before we start working on the engine. So let's have a look if the electric is fine. Quite a rat's nest, isn't it?
Which of those is the right one? Is there any movement?
Yes, you got it.
This one?
Right.
So this one is the one that's bringing the information. Okay, now we try to, there's some information coming from the sender to the gauge. Pretty hard to which one is the right one, because up here it's blue, and within the years it faded the color, so down there it's coming out like a brownish green, like you see. This one is the same color cable, like that one.
I'm not sure if this is a good sign.
Whoa, that's pretty green. Yes, that should look different. But the other one. Same thing here. I think we should rather change them, or at least clean them with a wire brush.
Looks horrible. We already changed the electrical connections. I sucked out all the old oil, and now it's time also to replace the oil filter. Got a new one. We want to make sure that we drain it with some fresh clean oil before we connect it. So make sure the rubber sealant gets a little oil. Alright, so let's put it back together. Let's top up the oil. A bit more than a gallon. Should be fine. So now we will allow to set it for a while. Check again. You see that? I'm always searching something. I'm always looking for something. Well, that looks good now. It's a little bit above maximum, but it doesn't hurt because the whole system is not yet full with oil. So we gotta run it for a little bit and see how the oil is after a minute or so. First, let's check out if we get some oil pressure. At least now we got all the electrical connections back together. I got all my warning lights I need, and I got a new buzzer. So the problem is not in electricity. We reconnected all the wires and should be all good, but still no oil pressure. So the next idea I have is maybe this sender unit, which could work in, and also we installed a new oil pressure switch with a simple light on top of here. We'll see if there is definitely no oil pressure. We can see it here on the light, and then we go check other things. Okay, we got new electric, we got new fresh oil and filter, and we got a new oil pressure switch. What we don't have is the sender unit, but I think if the pressure switch works, it's a clear sign that there is oil pressure building up and everything will be fine. Let's try. Warning light anymore. Everything fine. The only thing, it doesn't show me any pressure. So I think the sender unit is broken. But we can go without, no problem.
By coincidence, the oil pressure switch and the oil pressure sender failed. So for us, we had just the information there's no oil pressure. What would be a major problem if that's true, to run the engine without, of course. But luckily it was just those two small and relatively cheap pieces that failed. We got the new oil pressure switch, a new oil pressure sender we'll have to get in Florida in the States. But right now we at least know there's oil pressure and there will be no damage to the engine. I promise. Next video will be all about sailing.
And snorkeling.
Oh yeah.